What is up, my fellow golf ball addicts? Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you being here. Today is a really cool day because today is the day we start our top 10s and top 5s, which is going to lead us into the top 100 here in a couple weeks. I'm really excited about that. As you guys know, I have been really just testing golf balls like a madman over the last month or two. I am up to over 110 golf balls tested this year alone, and I'm super proud of that. I couldn't have done it without you all. As you know, I'm releasing my data at the end of the year, and so I want to make sure you have as much data, in your hands as possible. And so again, wouldn't be able to have this much without the support you guys have given me over this last calendar year and over the last 5 years. So thank you. Today we are starting out with most wedge spin. As you guys know, last year I did most spin as well, but I did it with all clubs. I did it with, the hybrid and the driver and the 7-iron, and there was a lot of feedback of, hey, we just care about the wedges. Valid point. So that's what I'm doing this year. I'm doing the 50-yard pitch that we do, as well as the full pitching wedge shots, taking the spin RPM number from those, and basically it's a top 10. We'll see which golf balls this year had the most wedge spin. Wedge spin can be a really good thing. It's not for everybody, but it can be a really good thing for some because the more backspin you have on your wedges, the straighter your golf ball flies. The more backspin it has on its y-axis, the harder it is to knock off its x-axis, which would be the side spin. So if you can hit a wedge shot pretty decently, it'll actually fly straighter if it has that backspin RPM, which is really cool. Also, let's be honest, if you get really good 50-yard pitch spin and you can see your ball kind of jump or, rip back to you, that's kind of cool too. Obviously, there's a lot of other factors that go in play, descent angle, launch angle, all that good stuff. But right now, today, we're just going to keep it easy. We're going to focus on the spin. Now, real quick, how I conducted this test, if you're new to the channel, I use a 58-degree Adams Idea wedge, which has been a huge surprise on this channel this year. I love it. Originally, it was supposed to be just this forgiving kind of wedge, for average golfers. That's how I test from the average perspective. However, it's pretty darn good. I've used it out on the course, and I was really impressed. Also, the Adams Idea iron set, which, if you don't know, TaylorMade now owns Adams, so you have TaylorMade technology in there as well as the Adams patented technology that they bought. So this is actually a really good set of clubs, and I got it on special for like $250 for a full set. You just can't beat it, but it's been awesome this year for testing golf balls. Really forgiving, a lot of feedback, so good stuff. As far as my launch monitor, it's a FlightScope Mevo Plus that uses radar technology as well as a camera to do fusion tracking is what they call it, and that's how it measures the spin. And it's pretty accurate according to, well, me, but also my Golf Spy and many other major publications, so that's great. All right. Let's do some honorable mentions real quick, okay? These are all golf balls that when it came to the 50-yard pitch did really well, but their pitching wedge spin was kind of just average, which is okay, but that's what you're looking at here. As you can see, a lot of tour balls, a lot of Bridgestone in there. You got the Titleist Pro V1X, which when it came to 50-yard pitch was an amazing golf ball this year, but just kind of average with the pitching wedge. So yeah, those are all golf balls. Look, like I said, I've tested 110 golf balls this year. So all these that I just showed you are in the top 20. They just couldn't crack the top 10. That's all it is. So without further ado, let's get into number 10. Now, number 10, I'm going to be real with you and up front. It's kind of boring. It's a prime example of how spin on a golf ball doesn't mean it's a good golf ball. This golf ball is very average. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you this one, and then I'm also going to give you a more interesting one that only missed by 3 RPM. I mean, we're talking like 15,000 and some change RPM between the two clubs. 3 is what this golf ball missed by. At number 10, we have the Nitro Ultimate Distance. I know, that's, I did not want to put it on this list, but my job is to be the honesty broker here. The numbers are the numbers. They test how they test. As you can see, 50-yard spin, it ranked 12th this year, 8,495. I was really surprised with that. Pitching wedge spin was 7,248, which was 26th, which, again, out of 110 is actually pretty good. The total RPM, it was 12th. Now, you might be saying, well, wait a minute, Nick, I thought this was a top 10. Shouldn't it be 10th? We'll get to that. Don't worry. When we get to the end and we get to number 1, I'll explain all that. Look, I tested the Nitro Pulsar Elite last year, and I hated it so bad that I said I would never test it again. It was one of the worst golf balls ever. So when I went into testing the Ultimate Distance, I didn't have high expectations. It's an average golf ball. So it did better than my expectations, but my expectations were dog water, and it was below average. Not bad, but what really disappointed me the most is a golf ball that literally on the cover says Ultimate Distance didn't do that well with the driver. It actually had a very mediocre performance with the driver. However, for some reason unknown to anyone except probably the good Lord himself, it spun a lot. I don't know, very strange, but it did spin a lot. And even when I took it on the course and played with it, it kind of had some checkup. I don't know how they did that. I don't know why. I don't know why you'd make an ultimate distance golf ball. They probably just didn't care. I mean, these things are under $10 a dozen, so maybe I'm looking too much into it. All right, so now, like I said, by only 3 RPM difference, this one's a little more interesting, and that's the Penfold Ace. This one's really cool. As you can see, 50-yard pitch, 8,514. It ranks 11th. Pitching wedge spin, 7,226. It ranked 32nd. Overall, though, it ends up at 13th place. Very, very close. Now, Penfold is a company that's been around for a very long time. They've been featured in the James Bond movies. As you can see, I always have this here. That's the Penfold Hearts 007 edition. It was Goldfinger, I believe, was the movie it was in. So it's a 4-piece golf ball. Not gonna blow anybody away, but really cool looking, niche. It has like this kind of casino vibe. It has, hearts and clubs and diamonds and stuff. I love it. It's very unique. It's kind of a boutique style golf ball. I actually really like those, but the spin number was really good. And it's a little more interesting than the Nitro Ultimate Distance. But like I said, the numbers are the numbers. So Penfold Ace gets the honorable mention there, but yeah, it's number 10. Number 9, we have the Callaway Chrome Soft. And let me tell you something, this golf ball tested really well this year. I don't know if it was just the Atom set responded a little bit better. I don't know if maybe my mindset was a little different. Who knows? But all I know is the Chrome Soft has in the past been one of my favorite tour balls for the average golfer. Nothing has changed here. If you look at the 50-yard spin, 8,464, it ranked 13th. Pitching wedge spin, 7,299, it ranked 22nd. Very close here, 15,763 for total RPM, and it ranks 11th. So the Chrome Soft, what makes it really cool is not only does it have a bunch of cool designs, colors, alignment aids, all that good stuff. They actually started giving a discount on it this year a little bit. You can always get 2 for $95 at like major like Dick's, PGA Superstore, that kind of thing. But also you can buy 3 and get 1 dozen for free. And so Callaway's done a good job with creating at least some discounts, making you feel like you're getting a deal. But the other thing is, let's talk about the performance. Not only are you getting these incredible spin numbers, you're getting incredible distance numbers with all clubs, pitching wedge, 7-iron, driver, one of the best driver performances of the year. That's an excellent golf ball. I'm glad it's on this list. It's been one of my favorite to test so far this year. Next up, we have at 8, the Snyder Speed. Okay, so Snyder is a German company. They make golf balls. I had never heard of them before this year, just to be completely honest, but they reached out. They wanted to get their golf balls tested. They wanted to kind of come into the American market a little bit. So they sent some to me, and I'll tell you what, they may not win a lot of distance awards, but when it comes to spin, they are the real deal. Starting with this one here. This one's not, and keep in mind, this one's not even a spin ball. This is the Speed. It's designed for ball speed. 8,450 on your 50-yard pitch, that ranks 15th, and then total RPM 15,770, that is 10th. So again, only a 7 RPM difference between the Chrome Soft and this one. It's amazing how close these are, despite having 15,000 and some change RPM. I mean, like the difference between 8th and 9th and 7th is only just a couple RPM. So it's a really close battle here. Let's go ahead and get into number 7. Number 7 is the Wright and Ditson golf ball. This is another boutique style golf ball. It's $29.99 a dozen. It's for a 4-piece. I tested them last year and I loved them. They were high on the top 100. I tested them just about a week ago. And again, really good spin here. 50-yard spin is 8,600. That ranks 7th. Pitching wedge spin, 7,229. That ranks 31st. Total RPM, 15,828. So there's a little bit of separation there, and that's 9th total overall for total spin. These golf balls are firmer. They're a little clickier, but what really sets them apart is they have this identification system where they have these markers on, and it gives this like really old-timey, traditional. I love like the breakfast ball. It reminds me, being a Southern guy, it just reminds me of that. I love them a lot. I think they have a lot of personality. Do they win any major performance awards? Are they going to be like lighting it up on the scoreboard? Probably not, but they're really solid. And when you combine that, I like them. So I'm glad they're on this list. Next up, at number 6, we have the Trust Aurora. So, Trust Aurora was interesting this year. I got sent the wrong model by Trust themselves. They ended up realizing it. They sent me the correct model. And thank God they did, because the correct model was way better than the other model. But one thing this golf ball does really well is spin. 50-yard spin, 8,420, 17th. Pitching wedge spin, 7,465, that's 9th. Total, it comes at 15,885. That's 8th. Another thing about the Trust Aurora I really love is it has a crystal urethane finish, so it's very easy to see in the grass or during fall or any of that. And then I also love, when it comes to greenside spin, it has one of the smoothest stops I've ever seen. Some golf balls, you know, hit and they kind of tug a little and then they stop. This one's just, and it's instant. It's just so smooth. It's unlike any other golf ball I've tested greenside. So yeah, really good spin numbers here. Again, is it a golf ball I would use, you know, full time with every club? Maybe not, but it spins. Next up, we have the Snell 3.0. That's going to get 5th place here. Now look, Snell's got a bad rep over the last few years. I get it, the quality. You can say whatever you want about them, but spin numbers are spin numbers. When it comes to 50-yard spin, it actually ranked 37th, so not a great performance there. I mean, still in the top half. But what really got this golf ball up there was its pitching wedge spin, 7,745. 3rd place on that, very high. And because of that, it ends up at 15,963, which is 7th overall. You know, again, you can say whatever you want about Snell. They did revamp the 3.0 this year. It's a little different than how it was when, you know, they had the control issues a couple years ago. It's a solid golf ball. If you like Dean Snell is the guy who, you know, kind of was on the design team and pioneered the Pro V1 back in the day. And then he also, you know, came up with but helped, you know, was the main guy when it came to the TP5 in its beginning stages. I think it was the Penta or the Tour or something. Anyway, when they were making a 5-piece golf ball, he was involved in it. So he has so much influence in the golf ball world. You have to have respect for it. He makes these golf balls. They spin. Of course they do. Number 4, we have the Snell 2.0. Oh, hey, look at that, back to back. Okay, so I don't really need to say anything else about Snell. Now, the Snell 2.0 is a 2-piece urethane golf ball. It's one of only a couple golf balls on the market that actually are urethane that are 2-piece, and it really helps the golf ball out a lot. It's very soft, it's squishy, and so when it came to the 50-yard spin, it absorbed into the club really well, caught those grooves. 8,876 was number 1 on the channel for a very long time this year, for a few months. 3rd now is what it sits at right now, but still really good. Pitching wedge spin, 7,265, that's 24th, and then total RPM, 16,141, which is 6th total. So, you know, again, a lot of people who need a 2-piece golf ball, but they're just so adamant about, I gotta have greenside checkup. This is usually what I recommend to them because it's really one of the only golf balls that has any type of, you know, somewhat relevance to a tour ball as far as greenside checkup because of that urethane cover. It being also really soft helps it absorb into the club a little bit more. And I noticed greenside chipping, it does kind of have a little higher of a launch, which aids in that as well. You got a little more spin, a little more height. It kind of acts differently than a lot of other 2-piece golf balls on the market. At number 3, we have the Members Mark golf ball. Now, Members Mark is interesting because it's very, very soft. You know, a lot of people want to compare it to the Kirkland, but they're 2 totally separate balls. Kirkland is firm, and for faster swingers, Members Mark is soft, and it's about control and, you know, distance control and consistency. It's not about, you know, hitting the long drive. And it really bothers me when I see people, you know, I see it all the time, like Amazon just released a golf ball. The Members Mark would be the perfect golf ball to compare to the Amazon golf ball because they're pretty close for the most part, other than one being 3-piece and one being 2-piece, you know. But people want to compare it to Kirkland, and Kirkland is this firm, bendable, you know, for me, my opinion, advanced type of golf ball for an advanced type of golfer, whereas the Members Mark is just about, hey, listen, I'm trying to keep it in the fairway, I'm trying to get a little more spin, I'm trying to keep it straight. That's what it's designed for, and that's what this kind of tells. As you can see, 8,432 with your 50-yard spin, that ranks 16th. And then when it comes to pitching wedge spin, 7,721, which is 4th, which gives it its 5th ranking. So at 16,153, it's a high-spinning golf ball. And one of the things I noticed is I lost a lot of distance when I tested this golf ball, but its accuracy and its forgiveness were pretty good. And so that means something. Next up, number 2, we have the Volvic XT Soft. You know, Volvic really didn't impress me with any of their golf balls this year. I mean, they kind of have some cool gimmicks and designs and stuff. And they're not necessarily bad, but this golf ball in particular really spins a lot. This is a 3-piece model. It is urethane, 8,764 when it comes to your 50-yard spin, which ranks 4th. And then pitching wedge spin was 7,432nd, which ranks 11th, which gave it its 4th overall ranking. 16,196 is a really good combined score. You know, again, do I have any interest in recommending this golf ball to any of you? Honestly, no. I haven't recommended it to anybody, but it does spin a lot. All right, so now we have number 1, and the reason the rankings have been off this whole time is because when it comes to the golf balls that actually are ranked 1, 2, and 3, they're all the same brand. And if you're a golf ball addict and you've been watching the channel this year, you know what brand that is. We've already mentioned them on this list. But when I was going through and making this list, I didn't want it to be just the same brand over and over and over. I wanted to give you guys some variety. Variety is the spice of life. Would you agree? So I didn't want it to just to be the same brand over and over and over. So what I did was I took first place, and there's 3 golf balls that get first place, and they go in this order. They're all Snyder golf balls. Like I mentioned before, Snyder, not the farthest golf ball you'll hit, but the amount of spin is insane. It has broken almost every spin record I've had. It's just bonkers. So let's talk about them. We have first place here, and we have 1A, 1B, and 1C. Let's go to 1C first, which got third place out of those 3 balls, which is the Snyder Pro X. If we look at this golf ball, it has 8,917 on your 50-yard spin. Just insanity. Really high. It ranks second. Then we go to pitching wedge. It is 7,494. That ranks 7th, giving it an overall score of 16,411. That ranks 3rd. You know, the X is the firmer version. It is a 5-piece model, which is kind of crazy because a lot of people don't realize there are other 5-piece models besides the TP5 and TP5X on the market. Snyder just does a really good job with them. They feel great. If you haven't seen those reviews, I highly recommend it. I did 2 triple reviews. I did the Pro Series, and then I did like the Value Series separate. Look, again, you can say whatever you want about the performance numbers. I think they're pretty solid. But the spin numbers are undeniable, and that's really what Snyder did. It was almost like Snyder said, listen, we're direct to consumer, we're going to be niche, we need to stand out, let's make this ball spin like a madman, and that they did. When we get to number 2, this is actually the Snyder Tour. Now, many golf ball addicts will know that the Snyder Tour is ranked first in 50-yard spin this year. And it's not close, guys. It's not close. 95.08 compared to 89.17 is second place. It's a 600 RPM gap between first place and second place this year. Absolutely bonkers, insane, Laffy Taffy, Looney Tunes, whatever you want to call it. I cannot believe the golf ball spun this much. In fact, it's the only golf ball to ever get a 100% spin rating greenside. This golf ball greenside, I kid you not. Again, you got to go see the review. But when I would chip it, it was like a fish out of water. I mean, it would just sit there and bounce left and right. If I opened the face or closed the face, and then on backspin, I mean, it was like hitting the brakes. It was like, you know, when you make a little mistake, maybe you look down at your phone or something, or, you know, you look down trying to change the radio, and you look up and there's a car in front of you stopped, and you have to just... That's what this golf ball did, just chipping on the green. It was insane. So, yeah, I'm surprised it's actually 2. I'm surprised it's not 1. But as you can see, pitching wedge spin was 47th. And because the 50-yard spin was so dang high, it still gets second. So, yeah, that's just crazy. Number 1A is the Snyder Ace. And as you can see from this golf ball right here, really just a flawless performance. It is a 3-piece model. It's not a 5-piece like the Pro and the Pro X are. Still in their Pro line though, and 8,674 ranks 5th when it comes to 50-yard pitch, but by far, number 1 in pitching wedge spin, 8,103. It's actually the only golf ball to get above 8,000 this year in pitching wedge spin. That's why there's such a huge gap there. Even though the Tour has that 9,500, which is crazy, that's how this golf ball gets ahead of it. You know, 5th, 1st, and 1st. It's a spin monster, and it's a pretty good golf ball. And so if you're someone who really demands a lot of spin, say you're a low spin player, and you got to check out Snyder golf balls. I mean, I was blown away at the spin aspect this year. I definitely recommend checking out those reviews if you haven't. So that is our top 10, 13, whatever. This is some of the best golf balls I've tested this year when it comes to wedge spin, whether it's 58 degree, you know, sand flop wedge, whether it's, you know, pitching wedge, full shots. These were the best of the best, and I love the variety. I mean, Snyder kind of took over this one, you know, but we're going to have some coming out, you know, tomorrow, the next day, here throughout the next couple of weeks. We're going to see several of these types of videos. And look, I'm just going to be honest with you. When you have 110 golf balls in the pool, you never know what's going to test number 1, number 5, number 10. You never know what's going to be the best of the best. I hope you enjoyed this video, y'all. I will see you again soon. As always, keep watching, keep saving, keep learning. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We'd love to have you stick around. If you want to support this channel further, we have a membership. It just starts at $1 a month. It helps me bring more content and it helps me test more golf balls. Thank you so much. I'll see you again soon.